It's just a little weird that the park ranger is absent in all this. It's kind of like this place is held hostage by the folks anchored out in the bay here. If you don't want your stuff to be pirated, I guess you got to pay them off first. Welcome back to Project Seawolf. So today, heading up to the boat, but first we're gonna go hang out with my friend Scott. So if you don't remember who Scott is, Scott has a Seafarer 36 that he keeps in Everett. And a little while ago, he took his Seafarer and a couple of other boats up to Deception Pass and put them on anchor for a bit. In the meantime, he had an accident and couldn't make it up to the boats. And the person he had it entrusted in watching the boats stripped them and destroyed them. The Seafarer ended up on Skagit Island up on the rocks, and Towboat US got the Seafarer off. So hopefully we'll be able to go see that Seafarer 36 and at least look for comparisons between the issues on my boat and that boat. But first, before we go visit the Seafarer, I've got my canoe strapped up on top of the Jeep, and we're gonna go pick up one of his boats in the bay and bring it back to a dock. Hopefully it runs. Hopefully it hasn't been stripped as well. If we have to, we'll paddle that small power boat back to a dock. So it's gonna be a little bit of an adventure today. Fields have flooded pretty good here. Got a ton of rain. All that rain in the mountains comes down to the Skagit Valley and fills up the farmlands. But it's great habitat for millions of sandpipers and waterfowl. So you see swans and gulls and millions of seabirds all having a great time playing in the mud. Just getting to Deception Pass. In the San Juan episodes, we actually anchored at Deception Island, which is going to be way out there at the end of the channel into Deception Pass. And on the delivery of the Seafarer, we anchored at one of those islands over there. And yeah, it's cool. Driven over it a few times and sailed under it. Oh yeah, there's Deception Island over there. That was a great anchor spot. It was really cool. Wow. What a beautiful little bay. Lovely dock. Tide is in. Lots of debris from the flooding around. And yep, got my canoe. So his boat must be out in the bay out there. Some of the other sailboats. Alright, so we're at Cornet Bay, and the boat that we're getting is one of these ones out here, I guess. We're gonna canoe out to it and take it back to the dock. That is a ferrocement boat that Scott had, and the guy stole it, painted it black, gutted it, and beached the Seafarer on Skagit Island, and tried to steal this one, but they caught him before he got out. So yeah, what a wild, crazy situation. The least I can do is help get that boat back, and yeah, just a beautiful day in the Pacific Northwest. I love it. So moody. I can't wait to take these waters all the way up to Alaska and back. There's a seal right there. It's my thesis animal. All right, I was able to just launch from the car. That's awesome. So now I'm gonna grab some ropes and the paddles, and I'm gonna pick up Scott on the dock, and I'll be good. All right, and we're off. So now we're heading out over to the dock. Go pick up Scott. Still a little rusty with my canoe skills. I don't usually canoe. I'm usually a kayak kind of guy. If I paddled all the way up to Alaska, I'd definitely do it in a kayak. But it's something I've always kind of wanted to do. Just that inside passage canoe trip. Very seriously looked into it. Maybe in a rower sailor. Or even better, on my boat. As soon as I finish it. Nice double-crested cormorant. Nice schooner in the bay. What a beautiful day in the Pacific Northwest. And I love sailing in the winter. Staying in conditions like this on an island, and there's nobody else around cruising. It's just perfect. So quiet. Made it to the boat. It was a really loose knot job.
Nothing really to walk around on this side.
But, now we gotta figure out how to get in. Alright, we got Scott on the boat. There's otter poop everywhere. It looks like there was an animal that just tore it apart inside. Oh, cute little powerboat. It's very likely I'm gonna have to tow this with the canoe. I hope I can outpace the current and the eddies. Alright, so I guess I'm gonna tie one of the ends of the ropes to the center pulpit up here, or the center cleat up here, and then I should be able to pull it. They got the boat up, and now gotta start canoeing. Gotta get it to safety. Oh, it's gonna be a slog. Might take all day. Oof.
I just tied it to myself. Yeah.
So we're making our way to the dock. A couple of rowboats helping out. Yeah, the tide and the currents. Up. All right. We made it to the dock. Goodness. All right. The boat's on the dock. Just putting away the canoe. Scott's on his way back. I guess there's some tiff between the guys. So I'm gonna try to stay out of it as much as I can. I came to find out later that while I was securing the boat to the dock and Scott was making his way back to his car for fenders, the persons in the rowboats confronted him on the walkway and demanded money from him. Keep in mind, these are the people that we suspect stripped the boats and are essentially holding the state park hostage, utilizing the parking lot and the docks to scout out and strip other people's boats while they're gone. Scott did pay them for fear of what would happen if he didn't, and they just smiled and said, have a nice day. But wow, another adventure. Didn't know how that was gonna go, but the currents took us in mostly, and then yeah, a couple of guys that have some issues with us, I guess, came in and helped. But everything was safe. We didn't bump any boats or anything, and we're on the dock now. It could have gone a lot worse, especially here in Deception Pass. Had enough rope to really pull the boat back to the dock if we had to, and the anchor was on, so if the boat was drifting out into Deception Pass, we would have thrown anchor before we got too far. Finally heading back. All right. So apparently, the guys that were in the rowboats may have been the people that took his ferrocement boat and painted it black and tried to get away with it and cut loose the seafarer and stripped both boats of anything valuable, and also stripped some things out of this boat. So it's really sketchy out here, especially if you're leaving boats on anchor. Gotta be really careful. Heard stories from another guy in Anacortes that says, he said lately a lot of people in unmarked boats coming by and asking him or checking out the boat until they realize he's there and then speed off. So if you're staying the night on your boat, keep an eye out and listen for motors coming up to your boat, and stay safe out there. You don't want to get mixed up with the wrong folks. I'm just glad this went okay. It's just a little weird that the park ranger is absent in all this. It's kind of like this place is held hostage by the folks anchored out in the bay here. If you don't want your stuff to be pirated, I guess you got to pay them off first, or something like that. Alrighty, back on shore. All right, back on the boat, on the Seafarer, and I already had this cut out, and so that's gonna go on the inside of the storage compartment in here, and then I'll put roving on the storage side. So this will be a nice, quick job to do at the end of the day, and I've got to head back down to Olympia afterwards. So yeah, got to get this done. So because this side turned out so well, really solid. I'm going to do the same on this side. Hopefully the thickened epoxy turned out well. We'll see. I didn't have a lot of thickened epoxy, I don't think, on this particular seam, but hopefully it's enough to hold it in. Okay, got the wax paper down, and then this huge mat of fiberglass as well. It's gonna go on the storage area. So now I'm gonna soak this with the last of the cheap stuff. I have 2 gallons of total boat epoxy ready to go, but that stuff is $150 a gallon, and so, geez, it's just a lot. I want to thank my sponsors, all those patrons out there. Thank you so much
for helping me on this journey and helping me afford the epoxy that I've been using. It's really been helping me try to get this boat back in the water, and I'm so grateful to you guys. If you'd like to become a patron, I've got that as the first link in the description, and if you sign up for $5 and up, I'll send you a shirt. Patrons get to see episodes pretty much as soon as I added them, so the upload frequency is a lot better than it is on YouTube, but more sporadic for sure, because it's as I film it and upload it. Put the hardener in, down in the bilge. I also have the Amazon wish list of parts that I'd like to put on the boat, and that would help a lot too. Oh, I got the water maker for the boat. It's coming in the mail. You have to pre-order it. It's a quench system, so fairly cheap, but portable. So if I ever have to get off the boat in a dinghy and live on an island, then I'll be able to use that quench system to manually pump water and get fresh water. But it will also work on the boat. So it's about 1 gallon an hour, which is probably more than what I'm going to use. So that's perfect, especially for a single sailor who doesn't really use fresh water to take showers. That being said, I do plan on having enough freshwater capacity where I don't need to use a water maker, which is the best plan. But in case anything ever happens to that water supply, I'll be able to make fresh water when needed. Because this stuff reacts so much faster than the stuff that I was used to, I'm just gonna get it on and get it stuck to the project area as soon as I can. I've had it cold for the past week, which is why I haven't been able to see the babies this week. But the kids are doing good. They're now in onesies and in bassinets and on room air, except Calvin, I think, still has some trouble breathing. So Lauren's doing great. This is real time. I'm filming this in the middle of December, so hopefully by January they're home and we're taking care of them at home. Because kids in the hospital, no fun. Just want to make sure there's plenty of resin on both sides of this project. Yeah, I needed more resin to soak through that area, so that'll be good. Alright, and then I'm going to keep some resin in here to paint on. Now it's ready to apply. So what I want to try this time is seeing if putting some epoxy on the foam first is going to help it stick to it. So try to make a nice sticky surface for it. Maybe along the edges down here too. I guess worst case scenario is just going to make it more waterproof. It's not bad. Alright, time to grab the fiberglass. I think somebody in the comments suggested that I try rolling it on. But man, on a vertical surface, I don't think it's going to work out that well. Oh no, it is falling apart. And it's so heavy, I don't know if it's going to be able to hold itself up. I'm going to take advantage of the fact that I didn't put thickened epoxy on the top part, so it's kind of flexible and I can get it over the top. And that kind of hooks it in place for now. Okay, that actually kind of worked. Wow. Okay, I can roll this. I can roll this and I can paint this in. Perfect. Get this nice and flat and perfect. Nice. I can see some places that need more epoxy, and I'll just go ahead and slap that on. You can already feel it like congealing in the cup, so I use it. Keep in mind, anything I don't really like how some of these spots are kind of bunched up, I can come back and cut that up pretty easy. And sand it flat. And repatch it if I want to. But the main goal right now is to just get full coverage on this. On this panel. And that'll make it solid enough to put the roving on. Because it's chopped strand and because it's basically like liquefied by this polyester epoxy, it kind of like forms into like the big crevices that I would otherwise have to fill with thickened epoxy. Okay, just to follow up with what happened earlier, there is some a legal case going on to try and get some justice for Scott and all the stuff that was stolen off his boats and his boats being destroyed. Just glad we made it out of there in one piece and everything's okay, except Scott still doesn't have his stuff. But Scott's boats are all destroyed, so it is sad. But I hope he gets some justice because, you know, to him those boats were his dream, his what he was working towards, and to have them just taken away like that and destroyed is really sad. Hopefully by the time this episode comes out, he will have got some of his claims in and legally he'll be on the way to justice. But yeah, for now it's very sketchy and I'm glad it's over and I'm glad his boat's on the dock. I hope nothing happens to that boat while it's on the dock. But yeah, for now, gonna clean up. Glad fiberglass went on okay, and can't wait to put the roving on the other side. Yeah, that'll probably happen in the next episode, so I'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and hopefully I see you out on the water.